I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stretch, seal my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no given. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. Down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need the brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS By the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS By the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC Vegas 51. And this could be one of the worst cards of the year. But surprisingly, I have like 11 bets on this card. It is probably way too much action, but I think like 8 out of my 11 bets are plus money. So I think it should be a good card. A lot of spots are sticking out. Like there's even more bets I'm looking at, but this is a very sketchy card, a lot of sketchy fights, but it should be fun. It should be fun as always. Looking forward to some fights there. So before we get started, as always, if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe here to DFS By the Numbers. And we are on the MMA Engine channel live right now. I'm thinking like 3 or 4 more cards until we'll permanently take this show and put it on the MMA Engine. So if you have not already, their link is in the description below. Go to the MMA Engine, subscribe over there. I'm going to be moving the show over there within the next couple weeks. And also, if you have not yet, check out me and Uncle Weezy's new show we also are doing on the MMA Engine. It is called Probability. We really like that show. We basically talk about the fights from a data driven standpoint. We talk about over-unders, fight goes, fight doesn't go, which is definitely a show for me because I love those bets. I do a ton of them each week. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Let us get started. Before we do so, if we could hit up the chat here. We have the first one in the chat is George saying, let's make some money. This card, let's go. What is up, George? How you doing? Got Chris in the chat as well. Let's make some money. I agree. We got Monk. A dude from the MMA Engine as well. What's up, Brady? What's up, chat? Let's get this a loot this weekend. Monk and Lou just got done with a show on the MMA Engine. Go check that out if you have not already. We got Ron in the chat saying, let's stack winners like parking tickets. I like it. We got Tony saying, what is up, Brady? Congrats on the weight loss. Thank you, Tony. Now you just have to share your tips with Jake Collier and Chris Dawkins so they can meet up at middleweight. Yeah, looks like Dawkins has slimmed down a little bit. You cannot really say the same thing for Collier, but Collier has been killing it. William Knight, 251. We'll talk about that. I was about like 20 pounds off in my guess. I was kind of thinking William Knight comes in around like 230s, low 230s, but no, 251. My goodness, William Knight is built like a fridge. We got Quaver in the chat saying, let's go. What is up, Quaver? We got Bill saying it's go time. We got Philip in the chat as well. Mushroom, sup, Brady, listening to live in my car, home soon. And oh yeah, violence. I do think there will be some violence on this card. And I think there's going to be some violence next week as well. Donald saying, curious on your thoughts on Lazez Alusa. Yeah, we'll talk about that fight. I was not able to break that down on my full card predictions. Cole in the chat as well. Let's go, Brady. Let's cash some ticks this week. And that is always the goal. Melon in the chat as well, bringing the hot takes every week. Syed saying, what is up, Brady? Great show. Always interested to watch. Thank you, Syed, for hanging out. We got Aiken saying, what's up, Brady? Let's make some money. Let's do it. We got the uncle, everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Weezy saying, let's go. What is up, Uncle Weezy? We got Ahmed saying, how's it going, Brady? It's going pretty good. How about you? Jan saying, let's make some money. And I agree with that. We got Lee, new member today. Let's roll, Brady. Let's go, Lee. And then back saying, I'll be in Vegas tomorrow to place my 10-leg parlay. My fate is in your hands, Brady. Well, if you're looking for a 10-leg parlay, you're looking at the wrong guy because I absolutely despise parlays and I'm trying to stay away from them. But we'll see what happens there. We got Sean in the chat as well. Thank you, Samuel. Thanks a ton. We got Blood Money as well saying, Brady, what's up, brother? Great show as always. Thank you, Blood Money. Blood Money does a ton of great work himself. If you guys have not checked him out, be sure to check him out as well. All right. Let's get right into it. I have a ton of action. Like I said, probably way too much action on a crap card like this. This card kind of sucks, but a lot of spots are really sticking out. So we'll start with the first fight of the night. We have Alatang Haley going against Kevin Kroom. We have Alatang Haley minus 170 and Kevin Kroom plus 145. And I've been kind of hovering over the Kevin Kroom money line all week. We have two guys here who are very low level, but one guy is going to do things in Kevin Kroom, and the other guy just doesn't do anything. You take a look at Alatang Haley. The guy's a really good wrestler. It's just he does not choose to use the wrestling. And on the feet, he does have some pop, but he's just so low volume, landing 2.75 significant strikes per minute. In his 3-round decision win against Na Bakary, he had 36 significant strikes against Ryan Benoit, a fight that went 15 minutes, 47. Against Casey Kenny, a fight that went 15 minutes, 46. And then against Gustavo Lopez in a fight that went 15 minutes, only 36 significant strikes. The most he's landed is 47. So at least with Kevin Kroom, he's not the best fighter in the world, but he's going to be massive. He's going to have a massive height and reach advantage. He's cutting down to 135. He made his debut at 155 on short notice. Kevin Kroom's going to throw volume. He's very tricky to deal with on the feet, very long, very rangy, very awkward. And again, he's going to do stuff, whereas Alatang Ali, he just doesn't. He just doesn't throw. So I think Kevin Kroom has multiple paths to victory. If Alatang Haley wants to take this fight down to the mat, I think he can, but that's where Kevin Kroom is most comfortable. Kevin Kroom, I believe, is a black belt in BJJ. He wants to get fights down to the mat, and he tries to in every single one of his fights. It's just his wrestling's not great. But yeah, on the feet, you probably got to favor Kevin Kroom just based off of the volume. Alatang does have some power, and then if Alatang does take this fight down to the mat, again, Kevin Kroom is a black belt in BJJ, so this line just doesn't make much sense to me at all. I get Kevin Kroom is probably not UFC caliber, but I'm not all that impressed with Alatang Haley. So yeah, minus 170 for Alatang just doesn't make much sense. So I ended up pulling the trigger. I did want to see Kroom weigh in. I wanted to see him make 135 pounds. He looked very sucked out, but the dude's huge. How tall is he? I want to say he's like 5'11". 5'11", making 135, whereas Alatang Haley, he's 5'5". So yeah, Kroom is going to have a big height advantage, a big reach advantage as well, a volume advantage, the grappling advantage. You got Alatang, who's probably going to have the power advantage and the wrestling advantage, but I'm just not impressed with Alatang. So give me the dog shot on Kroom. I'm not going overly heavy on it. It is a very low-level fight, but you know, pretty much every single fight on this card is a low-level fight outside of the main event, the co-main event, and a couple other ones, but half unit, Kevin Kroom, plus 155. Didn't want to go full unit on it because, again, it is Kevin Kroom, but I do think this is a very winnable fight for him. As far as DraftKings goes, yeah, don't hate some Kroom on DraftKings, 7,400. Not a ton of dogs really stick out. He's one that kind of does. And then Alatang Haley, I'm not going to have much, if any, Alatang Haley there. Same with Sam Brady, we trust. There we go. Close looks like crap at the weigh-ins. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that for sure. Blood Money saying, Amanda Kroom looked huge. I like Kroom to stop wrestling and to maybe able to wrestle himself. Yeah, that'd be nice if Kroom is able to get the takedowns in his own right. He has not been able to do that yet in the UFC, but yeah, this could be the matchup where he can do that. Chris saying, got Kroom in a DK lineup. Yeah, I do have a good amount of Kroom myself. Is Kroom part of the optimal? I don't know. He could be. He could be. I think there's some other underdogs I like a little bit more, but he's somebody that definitely does stick out of that price tag. We'll move on to the next fight, Estela Nunez, Cm Hughes. Yeah, there's some fights on this card I'm just not going to spend too much time on. I'm not betting this fight. I think Nunez should win, and this line has not moved like all week. Nunez opened at minus 110. She's currently she opened at minus 210. She's currently minus 210. Hughes opened at plus 180. She's currently plus 180. I think Nunez does win. Sam Hughes 0-3 in the UFC. I think she goes 0-4 here. Sam Hughes is going to have to get takedowns, and maybe she can, but I think at range it's going to be Nunez. It's going to be Nunez all day. Sam Hughes, kind of a walking punching bag, terrible striking defense. And I really like what I see from Nunez in terms of the striking, but there is a hole in the Nunez game, and that hole is going to be that ground game, that takedown defense. It's just as Sam Hughes going to be the one to exploit that. I'm kind of leaning towards no. I got to go with Nunez here, but I don't really want to play it. Minus 210, I was kind of tempted on it, but this is a fight I just don't want anything to do with. So give me Nunez. I think she does win this fight, but hey, it could be greasy. Sam Hughes, she's going to be fighting for her job. If Sam Hughes is able to get this fight down to the mat, her grappling is good. It's just I don't know if the wrestling's there. So I'll take Nunez to win. As far as DK, just not really interested in either side. Nunez 8,900 is a pretty hefty price tag where she probably doesn't finish you. She's not going to take her down. And you have Sam Hughes, who I don't know. I don't see her having success in the wrestling. So fading this fight from a betting standpoint, fading it from a DraftKings standpoint as well. Not much interest, but I will take Nunez as far as a pick goes. Nunez by decision, plus 106. Yeah, Nunez by decision. Yeah, plus 106 is good. I have it on minus 140. Looks like it is on Bet Online. So yeah, the plus 106 is solid. Sam Hughes is very, very tough. Chris liking Nunez by KO is my bet. Well, I'm kind of leaning more towards the decision, but I don't know. I mean, Tisha Torres was able to get that cut stop, the weird cut stoppage there, so you never know. The Sam fade has been filling my bank account. Yeah, you can keep on filling it. I think you keep on filling it here as well. Such a level, and yeah, like I said, this card is filled with some of the lowest level fights you'll see. It's crazy. Sam with the first round armbar from guard. Well, that would kind of shock me, but it would not shock me a ton. I've seen crazier things happen. We'll keep moving on to a fight I do have 2 bets on. So Jordan Levitt going against Trey Ogden, and I do have a bet on the Ogden money line. I have 1.3 units on Ogden at minus 130, and I also have the fight ends in submission plus 150, half a unit on that. I'll talk about why I like both of those. So Trey Ogden, this guy's going to have so many advantages in this fight. He's going to be the much better wrestler. He's able to get his opponents down, whereas Jordan Levitt, I believe he has a wrestling background, but he has, very unique ways of getting the fight down to the mat, and he can get it there, but Ogden just seems like the much better wrestler in there. On top of that, Ogden's going to be the much better striker. It's not even close. Levitt's going to be at a striking disadvantage in any single fight in the UFC for the foreseeable future, you got to imagine. The cardio is going to go to Ogden as well. Ogden has good cardio. I've seen him get into the 3rd round, get late finishes. I've seen him win decisions. So the cardio goes to Ogden. But the pure grappling, you probably got to favor Levitt. Levitt is a very good grappler, very dangerous. But Ogden is a black belt in BJJ. On paper, you look at it, Ogden has been submitted 3 times. Jordan Levitt, very good submission grappler, but Ogden's last submission loss was, I think, 2.5, 3 years ago. Since then, he is a black belt. Since then, he is training at Glory MMA and Fitness with James Krause. I think it's a winnable fight. I mean, Jordan Levitt, I think his path to victory is a submission, and more specifically, a first-round submission. If he does not get that first-round submission, I see Jordan Levitt slowing down. I see Ogden taking over, beating him up, and eventually submitting Levitt late. I think Ogden breaks Levitt and gets him out of there late, against Levitt. So could Levitt win? Absolutely. I think his path to victory is that first-round sub, but his path to victory is a first-round sub. Why shouldn't Ogden be a bigger favorite here? Ogden's going to have pretty much any single advantage you can think of. The striking, the wrestling, the cardio, all that I think is very, very important. But, Levitt's tricky to deal with, and Ogden has been submitted 3 times. But, again, those submission losses were a while ago. So I like Ogden. I like Ogden's money line, and then I also like the fight ends by submission. I have half a unit on that, plus 150. The reason being is you take a look at Ogden's 0 knockout wins in his career, and you take a look at Levitt, only 1 knockout win, and that was that weird slam knockout against Matt Wyman. He's not going to slam Ogden like that. So I think if there is a finish in this fight, I do think it's by sub. I'm leaning Levitt early sub or Ogden late sub, and more towards that Ogden late sub there. So 2 bets on this fight. We'll see what happens, but I think it's a really good spot for Ogden. If you like Levitt, I would take a look at the sub prop or the first round sub prop, which it's definitely live, but I think Ogden has many more advantages here. Levitt round 2 sub. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. I'm more so leaning toward the round 1. I don't think he has great cardio. Sean saying Ogden all day. Samuel saying, I see this one in the optimal. Yeah, I could see it. I think both sides could be used here. Levitt, if he wins, it's probably an early sub. Ogden, if he wins, you're going to expect a lot of takedowns, the better striking, and all that good stuff. Ogden looks great. I was very impressed with Ogden outside of the sketchy submission losses, but those were like 5 years ago. I bet the fight ends in sub. Both fighters have over 15 combined submission wins. Yeah, I think it's 15 or 16, right? A lot of submission wins. Monkey King gets it done. He could. Luque by sub. Got him at 13 against Kesa. Absolute steal. Yeah, I had the sub prop against Kesa as well. I will not have it here, but I do have another bet on Luque we'll talk about. Jordan Levitt first round KO. Melon, I don't know about that one. I don't see Levitt KOing anybody, honestly. Any bets on Bellator tonight? I looked into it a little bit. I did not quite get there, so I'm going to pass on the Bellator. I'm going to start looking into next week's card already, and then I'm going to start looking at UFC 274 already, trying to cram everything in before my wedding. Ogden is much better, but you can't trust him. Yeah, I think he's so much better, but Levitt's tricky. So there we go. We will keep it moving on. Before I do stuff, you guys saying, please hit the like button. Would much appreciate it. Let's get those likes up. And again, if you are not subscribed to the MMA Engine, be sure to do so. Lots of great content over there, including the new probability show with me and your Uncle Wheezy. All right. The people's main event. We have Martin Budai going against Chris Barnett, and we're going to talk a lot about the weigh-ins today. And this one was something that really stuck out. Martin Budai, this guy looks like a heavyweight, and Chris Barnett, he does not look like a heavyweight. This guy is 5'9". Kevin Kroom is 5'11". He weighed in at bantamweight today. Barnett is 5'9", and there's a big difference. There's a very big difference. We have an actual heavyweight in Budai and a very small heavyweight. It's not often at all you're going to see a 5'9" heavyweight, especially in the UFC. So it's sketchy. It's low level, sloppy, greasy heavyweight, but I do have a bet on Budai, and it is my biggest bet of the night. And nothing crazy. I have 2.5 units on Budai. I got him at minus 210. A couple weeks back, I saw him at like minus 160. Was not able to look into the fight as much as I'd liked. So waited a little bit too long, but still minus 210. I like that line. I figured it would get hit a little bit more, and it's still around there. It's still around like minus 220, minus 230. I just think, Budai is going to have a lot of advantages in this fight. For one, like I said, he's going to be the more natural heavyweight. Two, he's going to be so much bigger. He's going to have a massive height advantage. I think it's like 7 inches. Looked even more than that at the weigh-ins. He's going to have a reach advantage. He's going to have probably a cardio advantage. Like, I guess the one question was the cardio of Budai, but every single fight I watched, he's able to go in there in the second round. He looks good. He looks fresh. His only loss comes to Juan Espino, and that was by decision. If Juan Espino isn't finishing you, I'd be shocked if Chris Barnett did. And Budai is going to have a wrestling advantage. Barnett does not have a ground game. It's completely non-existent. And Budai does have a brown belt in BJJ for what it's worth. So, yeah, I think it's a good spot for Budai. At range, Barnett probably can have some success. He's going to have a speed advantage, believe it or not. He's going to probably, be the better striker at range, but it's going to be Budai who's going to be much better in the clinch, much, much better on the mat. And if he does get on top of Barnett, I think he does finish the fight. So I like Budai to win. I like him to win inside the distance. I think he takes down Barnett, and whether it's a sub or a TKO, I think he does get him out of there. I'm kind of thinking second round. So, yep, sketchy, low-level heavyweight. But I think Budai gets this one done. Minus 210, 2.5 units. We will see what happens, but it's such a weird fight. Budai isn't very talented. He's all right. I mean, he's not the best striker, but he does do things really good. He'll go for takedowns. The cardio is good. He's very durable. He has some good attributes there. Budai by KO, easy pick. Yeah, I think Budai does get him. Blood money also on that Ogden minus 130. I like it. Budai and the over 1.5 sounds good at all. Yeah, I think the over 1.5 early in the week was like plus 155. I liked it then, but it's now like minus 105, something like that. So I'm not going to touch it. But if you got early on it, I think that was a good look. Bet the over 1.5 easy. It could look easy. Wonder how higher owned Budai will be. I think he'll have some decent ownership. Budai by sub looks tempting. Yeah, Budai by sub is sitting at like plus 550. Like, that does look kind of tempting, right? Like, if he gets him down to the mat, he's a brown belt, and Barnett is a complete fish out of water on the mat. Barnett first round Darce choke after sprawling a takedown. Melon, if that happens, I don't even know. A Darce choke from Chris Barnett, I don't know. If that happens, I'll give you $100, Melon. I'll give you $100. But we'll keep moving on. We have Haufa Garcia going against Jesse Ronson. Yeah, not much to say here. It seems like everybody has a bet on Jesse Ronson, though. There's some red flags, and I'm going to stay away from this fight. But Ronson, he's coming off of a 2-year layoff, had that PED suspension, said it was a tainted supplement. As far as the fight goes, I think it's very close. I think a pick'em is about right, but it looks like money is coming in on Ronson. He's now minus 120. Haufa Garcia, he's going to be the younger fighter, the more active fighter. Haufa Garcia, very good wrestler, but the problem I don't like about Garcia is going to be the gas tank. I think he can get takedowns, and he's going to get takedowns in this fight. It's just, can he keep it up for 15 minutes? And I'm kind of leaning towards no, but this is going to be a very close fight. I want nothing to do with it. I'm going to pick Ronson for the fact that he's going to be the better striker, and he's going to have the better cardio. I think the cardio is key in this fight, but it's going to be close. It's going to be very close. From a DraftKings perspective, I actually kind of like Garcia at 8,200. I think he's a nice leverage play. Again, not many people are on Garcia this week, and if Garcia does win, you got to imagine it's going to be a lot of takedowns. It's going to be some control time, but again, it's the gas tank you have to worry about with Garcia. So I'll pick Ronson. with little to no confidence, especially now at minus 120. Even as a dog, I wasn't really tempted because I do think this is a close fight. I think it should be around a pick 'em there, but I'll take Ronson. But red flags, definitely some red flags. I think he's what is he like 30? How old is Ronson now? 36 years old. 36 years old. 2-year layoff, PED suspension, going against Garcia, who's younger, has good wrestling. It's just the cardio that I don't like about Garcia. If Garcia had cardio, for one, I think he would have beat Grutzmacher pretty handily, and two, I think he probably wins this fight. But the fact of the matter is, he's not shown good cardio thus far, and that's why I cannot pick him. Best 2-leg parlay. I think a very popular parlay is that Budai and Sabatini parlay. I don't hate that. But I'll have no parlays this week. Ronson weight cut at his age looked concerning. Yeah, he looked good at the weigh-ins there. He looked good, but yeah, he's 36. And yeah, not just saying he looked good. He did. He definitely did. Haufa 30-27. Not a crazy prediction there, Melon. Garcia showed much, but he did. He showed much better cardio last fight. He definitely did. Liking Godzi as the lock of the night, potentially. I cannot wait for that fight. See if I missed anything here. Sean liking Garcia as a DK play. I like him too. I think he's going to be pretty low owned as well. I think that's a really solid call. A gasser versus a guy coming off of a USADA suspension. What total 100 gambler fights today? I totally agree. With that statement there. We got Mark in the chat. What is up, Mark? How you doing? Let us keep moving on. We have Jakar Close going against Brandon Jenkins. I have a ton to say about this fight because I have 3 bets on it. So let's talk narrative first, and then we'll talk the weigh-ins, and then we'll talk the bets on this fight. So narrative is Jakar Close all week has been talking about he's still feeling the effects from the Jeremy Stephens push. And, he's also talking about in their interview how he's going to come in and kind of play it safe. He wants to just get the win. On top of that, it's about a 2-year layoff for Jakar Close. He had that knockout loss against Beneil Dariush. He had that fight against Jeremy Stephens where Stephens pushed him after his weight cut and hurt him bad. And then again, he's talking about still dealing with the effects of that Jeremy Stephens push. That's not something you want to hear, right? That is not something you want to hear, especially as a minus 800 favorite. And that line has came down a little bit. I do see him like a minus 500, minus 600. So the line's come down a little bit, and it's because of the weigh-ins. Jakar Close looked very bad at the weigh-ins, and shout out to Moy's audio. He put the today's weigh-ins with Jakar Close, and then he compared it to the last weigh-in with Jeremy Stephens, and Close looks like a completely different person. Against Jeremy Stephens, he had much more muscle, and this weigh-in, he just looked bad. He looked very, very bad, and on the top of that, on the scales, he just did not look right. Looked like he was about to pass out. He had to use the curtain, still did not make weight, and then he had to go cut weight again, which is something you do not want to see out of fighters. So we have the narrative in this guy got knocked out. He went to fight Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens pushed him. He got hurt very bad. He's still feeling those effects still to this day. And then on top of that, the dude missed weight. He looked like crap. How's his chin going to be? How's he, it's so sketchy. And on top of that, he's minus 800. It's crazy to me. So, and the reason why he's minus 800 is Brandon Jenkins. Let's just put it straight. Brandon Jenkins is the worst fighter on this card. I think, it's between him, Chris Barnett, Sam Hughes. I mean, there's some bad fighters on this card, but it probably is Brandon Jenkins who is the worst fighter on this card. And Jakar Close has fought the best competition, and between the two, it's not even close. But the narrative, the weight cut, the chin, everything is just very, very sketchy there. So with all that said, I don't know. Like, you still probably got to pick Close, right? Brandon Jenkins, he's hittable. Brandon Jenkins has no takedown defense. He's tough. I'll give him that. He's very tough, but Jakar Close should win this fight. It's just, my goodness, there's so much going against him. So I do have 3 bets on this fight. We'll talk about the one I placed on Monday before the whole Jakar Close shenanigans. So I saw the over 2.5 plus 110. I put 1 unit on that. This is a Jakar Close fight. They typically do go to decision. Only one in his career in the UFC has not went to decision and not went over that 2.5. Jakar Close, on top of that, has not finished a fight since, I want to say, like 7.5 years since Jakar Close has finished a fight. And I know you can look at Brandon Jenkins. Oh, he got finished in his last fight against Rong Zhu, but to be honest, that was not the best stoppage in the world. He was kind of upset at the stoppage when it did happen. It's not like he was out or anything. And again, Jakar Close is not that much of a submission threat. I don't think he has any submissions. And on top of that, he's not really a power guy. And Brandon Jenkins is very, very durable, very tough guy. So I saw the over 2.5 plus 110, and it was weird because at the time, and I think still, Jakar Close by decision was like minus 115. So might as well take the over 2.5. So I have that because I think if there's a finish, it's actually going to be, believe it or not, on the Jenkins side. And we can take a look at the finish rates between the two. One guy in Jakar Close has a 36% finish rate, has not finished in 7.5 years. The other guy is a finisher in Brandon Jenkins. This guy's an 87% finish rate. So we have that. We have the finish rates. We have the weigh-in shenanigans. We have the narrative of Close. And he's 34. He's 34 years old. So the other two bets I have, I put a quarter unit on Brandon Jenkins to win by KO plus 1,100. That line's kind of silly. Plus 1,100 for Jenkins to win by KO. With the chin issues, the injuries, the weigh-ins, I think it's worth a quarter unit sprinkle. And then what I also did was I put 0.75 units on Brandon Jenkins scorecards equals no action, which is the same thing as finish only. This means if the fight goes to decision, and I think this is most likely, if the fight goes to decision, and I think if it does go to decision, Close wins, the bet gets voided. If Jenkins wins inside the distance, you get that plus 450. And if Close wins inside the distance, you lose the bet. And plus 450, I just think is kind of nuts. And I was actually shocked that it was still there, the plus 450 finish only. So basically, I think if there is a finish, it's going to come from the Jenkins side. I think you got to still pick Close to win, but just so much going against him. So, yeah, let's see what happens. I know Brandon Jenkins is probably the worst fighter on the card, but it's a sketchy fight. And this is a sketchy card. But those are my three bets. That's how I'm kind of playing it. I have the over, the finish only, and a sprinkle on that Jenkins KO. And we'll definitely see what happened there. Tony saying Close, a horrible day. How can anyone put money on a guy that suffered a career-threatening injury from a push is beyond me. And like I said, he's still feeling those effects. Close is unbettable. Jason saying Jenkins money line. Viral Sports saying Jenkins is so bad. He's very bad. I already talked about that. He's the worst fighter on the card. Bet the Close by decision. I think that's the most likely scenario. Close was out of it when he almost dropped his own. Yeah, I was scared for a second there. I was definitely scared for a second. I'll take a shot on Jenkins inside the distance or by KO. I think it's worth a little sprinkle there. Ratea saying smash the like button. I agree with that. Cole saying smart plays Brady. I'm sure this fight will be interesting. It's very interesting. Not overly excited. I have 3 bets on this fight, but I do. So we'll see what happens. And then can Jenkins be the slate breaker? Imagine that. Yeah, 6,800. After seeing the weigh-ins, I will have some sprinkles of Jenkins. But yeah, so that was the big thing at the weigh-ins today. Let's move on. Let us move on. We have Panny Kanzad going against Lena Landsberg. So yeah, not much to talk about here. Another narrative-based fight where you have Landsberg. She's now 40 years old, coming off of a massive layoff. I think like 2 years, something like that. Going against a much younger Pandy Kanzad. I think Kanzad does win this one. She's minus 425. Not much you can do with that. If you want to play Kanzad by decision, you can't really do that. She's minus 185. Pass fight. I'm passing on betting. I'm not betting a fight like this. On DraftKings, you can't play Pandy Kanzad at 9,100. Pretty easy fade there. And then Landsberg, 7,100. I'm just not all that tempted. Not much to say here. Kanzad for the win. Yeah, I'm not betting it at all. So we can just move on and kind of skip that mess. Next, we have Devin Clark going against William Knight. And I do have a bet on this fight as well. Close by decisions, plus 150. If you can get plus 150, that's solid. I saw it like minus 115. But plus 150 is very solid. I think that is the most likely scenario. Devin Clark, William Knight, heavyweight fight. Like most fights on this card, another greasy, sketchy, weird fight here at heavyweight. Both these guys are light heavyweights, and both these guys are like small light heavyweights. I guess you can't say the same thing about William Knight now because the dude weighed in at 252 or 251 today. William Knight, this dude is built like a fridge. I mean, this guy is huge. And I kind of predicted William Knight would come in around like 230s, like 233, I was thinking. was about 20 pounds off. So he's going to have a 29, around 30-pound weight advantage over Devin Clark here. Yeah, I mean, I like Clark to win. I think Clark should be able to take down William Knight. William Knight has atrocious takedown defense, atrocious striking defense, but it's going to be really hard for Devin Clark to go out there and move a fridge for 3 rounds is the concern there. But yeah, I'm not going to touch it from a money line standpoint, but there is a play I do really like. And the play is going to be the Knight scorecards equals no action, which is the same thing as the Knight finish only on DraftKings Sportsbook. It was at plus 100. And my plan was to bet that now. And I bet it, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. I was going to bet that now. And then I was going to potentially add on if I liked what I saw from Knight at the weigh-ins, and I did. He's gonna be huge. So I went to add on and I actually moved it to minus 115, which I still think that's solid, but I did not add on to it. But yeah, the finish only at plus 100 just made no sense to me. I put a unit on it. Well, again, we'll take a look at their finish rates. We have one guy who's a finisher in William Knight. He's going to be much bigger, hits much harder. And then you have one guy in Devin Clark who's not a finisher, 33% finish rate, and you're getting the finish only. Scorecards equals no action, which means if this goes to decision, it's voided. And you're getting Knight at plus 100. This doesn't make much sense. Even at minus 115, doesn't make much sense. I think if there is a finish, it's William Knight. Clark has been finished a ton in 5 of his 6 losses. Clark's chin is not great. And again, William Knight hits hard. He's going to have a big size advantage. So 1 unit, sketchy fight, finish only for Knight. We'll see what happens, but I do like that finish only quite a bit. As far as DK goes, I kind of like both sides. Clark, takedown upside, control time upside. And then Knight, if he does win, it's going to be by finish there. I don't see Knight winning a decision. Knight gets the win. Yeah, he could. Just 2 bombs. No interest in this fight. I kind of agree with that. Knight is going to throw like 10 total strikes. That is exactly what Knight does. Very frustrating fighter there. Knight is going to start Clark in the first. Wouldn't shock me. Nothing would shock me in this fight. Nothing at all. How is Knight's takedown defense? It is awful. It is terrible, like 45%. But that was like light heavyweight. I'm not sure how it's going to be at heavyweight where he's weighing in at 251. I think that's kind of crazy. See if I missed anything here. Knight looking like a fire hydrant. Yeah, the dude is, I don't know. That was insane. Devin Clark blasts leg kicks. Essential game plan this matchup if he's smart. Yeah, I think leg kicks, closing the distance, especially pinning Knight against the cage, taking him down. Knight by first round KO is plus 600. No action for me, but that is off. Knight will learn from the last fight and let his hands go. Yeah, he looked awful in his last fight. Knight's cardio is going to fall off early. It could. I think Knight does have solid cardio for the way he's built, though. Knight is a turtle off his back. Yeah, I will say his takedown defense is bad, but he does kind of use his strength to get up. Not much technique, one of those guys. But yeah, another weird fight. We'll move on to Munir Lazzez going against Angalusa. We have Lazzez sitting at minus 195 and Lusa is plus 170. Lusa, a very popular dog, it looks like this week. And I'm not going to have a bet here, but I do think if I was to bet anything, it would be on the over 2.5 where the fight goes to decision, just based off the fact that both of these guys are very, very durable. I was really impressed with what I saw from Lusa in his fight against Jack Della Maddalena, who has finished all but one of his wins. And the one win he did not finish was against Lusa. This guy took a bunch of big shots, showed a great chin, and I was not sure how he was not going down. But yeah, I really like the durability of Lusa. As far as Lazzez in his own right showed great durability against Abdul Razak Al-Hassan, ate like 50 shots in the first round, was able to stay up and kind of took over as the fight goes on as a big dog in that fight. So as far as how the fight plays out, I do think the better striker is Lazzez here. You know, maybe Lusa can come in here, work his takedowns, get the fight down to the mat, but he's coming in on a couple days short notice. I don't like that for him. But it's going to be close. It's going to be a very close fight, but I do think the better striker is going to be Lazzez. I think he's going to throw more volume, and I do think he's probably going to have the better cardio, having trained for a fight already, whereas Lusa is coming in on short notice. So I'm going to take Lazzez by decision, but the bet I would be looking at, if anything, would be the fight goes or the over. As far as DK, I'm not really touching this fight. If anything, it'd be a shot on Lusa at 7,400. Not really too interested in Lazzez at 8,800, but I'll take Lazzez for the win, but no action on this one for me. you pick Lusa, you will be a winner. Maybe. If he came in on short notice, pull off the upset, that'd be big there. The extra weight will never help a guy like William Knight. I don't know, it could. The guy's going to have a lot of extra weight on Devin Clark there. Lusa by decision. You guys are sleeping on Lazez. Yeah, I don't see many people picking Lazez, but the money line is staying around where it's at. I'm not going to bet this fight. Lusa arm triangle round 2, probably not going to happen, Melon. We'll move on to the next fight. We have Pat Sabatini going against TJ Laramie. I do have a bet on this fight. I have Pat Sabatini to win inside the distance, 1 unit plus 125. Yeah, I think Sabatini comes out here, gets it done inside the distance. TJ Laramie, he's young. We have not seen him in a while. His debut did not go as planned, getting submitted in less than 60 seconds against Derek Minner. And I think he's a much better fighter than he showed. I think his striking is okay, has some power. His wrestling is really good. And it's going to be like a wrestler versus wrestler here. I think this fight does hit the mat at some point, whether it's Laramie taking the fight down to the mat, which I would not recommend. But I think Sabatini gets it down to the mat here. I think Sabatini is going to be relentless with the takedowns. I think he gets it down early and often. And when it hits the mat, I mean, there's just going to be levels apart in terms of the grappling. Pat Sabatini, legit black belt in BJJ. This guy's a wizard on the mat. I don't think Laramie's going to hang with him. So I think Sabatini submits him here. I think this fight does hit the mat. And plus 175 Sabatini by submission. I don't hate, but I took it a little bit safer and went with the inside the distance plus 125. Sabatini, very good finisher, 75% finish rate. Laramie has been finished in 3 of his 4 losses, 2 by knockout, 1 by sub. I think Sabatini kind of runs through him here, but yeah, minus 500 is a little bit crazy, but yeah, I do like the plus money inside the distance. I think if Sabatini is having success, I think it will be on the mat, and I think the sub is very, very live here. So give me Sabatini for the win. I like him on DraftKings a lot. I think he has takedown upside, control time upside, and finish upside as well. Give me some Pat Sabatini there. As far as I think the under is decent. Like the fight doesn't go decision at minus 115 is even decent because we do see that Laramie is a good finisher in his own right, and he does have power. But I think if there is a finish, it's more so on that Sabatini side. So give me Sabatini inside the distance, 1 unit, plus 125. I do like that quite a bit. Sabatini Philly will roll. Sub, yeah, I think he does sub him as well. And Laramie's not a bum by any means. Laramie's a very good fighter. Did not have a good debut. I think he will be back, but my goodness, taking a fight against Pat Sabatini as far as like a bounce back fight, you want to try to bounce back after that Minner loss, just don't really understand that at all. I do not understand that one bit. Like, give him something, give him somebody else. Like, don't give him Pat Sabatini. You don't want to start out 0-2, but I think he does probably start out 0-2. And I was so bad his last fight, simply refused to let his hands go. I can't see that happening again. And yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe he had a bad weight cut last time as well, because that was the fight where he did weigh in like 13 pounds over the limit for a light heavyweight fight. So I do think, not having to cut down is going to help him here quite a bit. Once I'm going to take a sip of my drink, and then we'll continue. And we're back. Again, if you guys can please do me a favor, I put the link to the MMA Engine channel in the description below. Go check that out. I'm going to be moving the show over there. I want to say probably by that the May, I think it's May 7th or May 8th, UFC 274. I think about moving it over there permanently around that date. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the MMA Engine and watching over there as well. We got Nicholas saying, what's up from Brady from Germany? Sabatini inside the distance, Budai and Luque inside the distance, definitely my place for tomorrow. And I agree with all 3 of those there. I like them. Cole saying Sabatini by sub. I like it. We'll move on to the next fight. We have Maro Bueno Silva going against Willian. And yeah, this is probably, there's a lot of 1-800 gambler fights on this card. Let's go through them. Let's go through the 1-800 gambler fights. So the 1-800 gambler fights on this card include, and I have bets on some of them. Alatang Hali, Kevin Kroom is a 1-800 gambler fight. Estella Nunez Cm Hughes is a 1-800 gambler fight. Budai Barnett is a 1-800 gambler fight. Dakar Close, Brandon Jenkins is a 1-800 gambler fight. Landsberg, Kanzad, same thing. Knight Clark is a 1-800 gambler fight. And Silva Wu is a 1-800 gambler fight. There's a lot of 1-800 gambler fights on this card, but this is probably the biggest one. Whereas if you're betting on this fight, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Silva should win this fight. I think she's the much better fighter, but you're laying minus 500 on a grappler, a black belt specialist on the mat who is not going to attempt takedowns. She has 0 takedowns in the UFC. She's attempted 0 takedowns. She's very hittable, very slow, very plodding. She has power. But, if you're laying minus 500 on Silva, you probably want to get it. You probably want her to get it down to the mat. And the matter of the fact is she probably is not going to go for takedowns. So I think she wins. I think she could win inside the distance. She's going to be landing the harder shots, but yeah, minus 500 on Silva just not seems. It does not seem like the best idea in the world. Willian, not great. Probably one of the lower level fighters on the card for sure. But you got to go Silva here. I would not recommend parlaying Silva. I would not recommend really taking any of the props. Like inside the distance is interesting. I just wish I would be getting a better price in plus 175. So Silva for the win. I think on DraftKings, if anything, it would be some sprinkles of Silva just in case this fight does hit the mat. If it does hit the mat, she's subbing Willian on. It's just I don't know if I can trust her to get it there because she does not try to. Like how Brady announced his 10-second water break, 10-second break to drink water, big baller move. Yeah, you got to drink some water, man. You got to. So I told you I bet on a couple 100 gambler fights, and this is a 100 gambler card. We got Tajik the GOAT in the chat. What is up, Tajik? Cannot talk. What is up? How you doing, GOAT? Blue split decision. My goodness. I don't think Silva's a black belt. I think she is. She submitted black belts. I think she has 3 submissions in the UFC against Jillian Robertson. Wu sucks. Yeah. I'm a 100 gambler type of better for sure. Mushroom saying everybody should check out Probability with Brady and Weezy. That show is on. Yeah, that show is great, man. Thank you for the compliment. I love doing it. Weezy loves doing it. We're going to keep improving it. That show is, I think it's the next big thing. It's the next big thing. It's something nobody else is doing. We can all talk fights, but we're bringing the data into it. We're backing it by data, and I love that. We got 302 Fight Life saying, tapping in from the 302. What's up with the homie? How we looking this weekend? Not that many big names. I feel good about the money that can be made on this card 100%. Yeah, not the best name card, but I do feel like there's a lot of spots for sure. What's up, Brady? Curious if you generally leave salary on the board or if you max it out. Yeah, I typically like to leave some salary on the table to get a little bit different. And thank you, Gaming Wolf. We will keep moving on to the next fight. We have Miguel Baiza going against Andre Fialo. And yeah, another kind of close fight here. I think this fight probably does end inside the distance. I think a sneaky bet would be the fight ending in KO at minus 115. Baiza has 1 submission in his career, and that submission was over Takashi Sato. And then Fialo also has 1 submission in his career. Baiza 70% knockout rate, Fialo 79% knockout rate. I think there's a good chance for a knockout. On top of that, neither guy's been submitted. Baiza been knocked out once, been hurt a bunch, and Fialo's been knocked out twice as well. So if anything, it's going to be that fight ending in KO. But I will not have a bet on this fight. I'm going to pick Baiza to win. I think he's going to be the minute winner here. Baiza is going to have a bunch of advantages. He's going to have the cardio advantage. He's going to have the output advantage. He's going to have the speed advantage. But Fialo, this guy's no joke. I was really looking forward to him making his debut against Michel Pereira because this guy's fun to watch. You go and watch some of his fights outside the UFC, and he's putting guys out cold. This guy's power is no joke. And Baiza's chin is definitely sketchy. He's definitely been hurt. Got knocked out in his last fight. I think somebody's getting knocked out here. So on DraftKings, playing both sides, Baiza 8,700. I think if he wins, it's probably a knockout. And Fialo, if he wins, I think it's definitely a knockout. Not too confident to pick, but I will go Baiza there. But yeah, Fialo's a beast. I do like what I see from him at 7,500 on DK. I think he's worth some shots for a potential knockout. Is Weezy still with us, or did the internet bookies take him out for good? Yeah, Weezy's back. I'm not sure what happened, but Weezy is back. And Rob saying, Brady, does your weekly $10 package have an optimizer? Yes, sir, it does. Mushroom saying, what is up, Tajik the GOAT? People loving Tajik. Somebody going night in this fight. I do agree with that. Really like this fight. Could go either way. You just peeped Shatira on IG. Did you a post of hers, purple belt? Not that it matters here. Well, that's kind of shocking. She looks like a black belt to me. But even if she was a white belt, I think she could submit Willian on. We got the DFS Whisperers. What is up, Brady? What is up, DFS Whisperer? How you doing? Feel like Baiza could be sneaky and low owned. He could be. Baiza 30-27 plays hesitant after that KO loss. I could see it. I think this fight's gonna be a banger though. I don't think there's gonna be much hesitancy there. good fight for betting. Yeah, I won't have a bet on this fight, but it could be. Really like this fight either way. Yeah, I feel it. We'll keep moving on to the co-main event. We have Gadziev going against Kyle Bahio. And yeah, I mean, not much to say here. I think this is a interesting fight. I don't know really why they put these guys up against each other. You would think, both guys on the Contender Series, maybe build them up a little bit, but that's not the case. And we have a co-main event of two guys that have no UFC fights yet. But again, Bahio has fought on the Contender Series twice, and Omar Gadziev has fought on there once, and both guys have put up great performances. Kyle in his last fight on the Contender Series knocked somebody out in the first round there. His first Contender Series fight, he won a decision. I thought he looked good there as well. Did not get the contract. And then Godzi went out there and submitted somebody in the first couple minutes of the fight. He looked really good. Yeah, this is a fight that is very tough to call. I want to kind of sit back, watch this fight, learn more about both guys. What I do know is Omar Gadziev, this guy's a beast. He's going to go for takedowns early and often. Really good wrestling, really good grappling. The striking is okay. It's not horrible. And what I like about Gadziev the most is he's a guy that will go for takedowns, and then he has the cardio to do so for 15 minutes. I think that is very big there. I like the cardio of Gadziev, the wrestling, the fight IQ, everything I see from Gadziev. Kyle, on the other hand, this guy, I like him a lot as well. He's a very good striker. He's going to have the striking advantage. He's a black belt in BJJ as well. He's good on the ground. I've seen him go out there and take guys down. I've seen him go out there and implement wrestling of a game plan in his own right outside of the Contender Series. Just two very solid guys here, well-matched guys. Is Godzi going to be able to take down Kyle for 15 minutes to control him en route to a decision? Or is Kyle going to be able to stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet? If he does get taken down, work back up, and outstrike Godzi for 3 rounds? I mean, I think it could really go either way. I think this should probably be towards a pick'em. I don't have a strong lean one way or another. But since I do think it should be a pick'em, I guess I'll lean with the plus money of Kyle. But both these guys are great. No props or anything stick out. I'm just going to sit back, enjoy this one as a fan. Both these guys are awesome. Let's see who gets it done. But I will take the slight dog and Kyle. But just no strong take on this one. It's a very good fight, though. It could be the Contender Series championship. He definitely could. Yeah, Baiza will be low owned. Everybody's on his opponent. Yeah, lots of people on the Fialo side. A early prediction for Izzy versus Jared. When did that get announced? It's gonna be Izzy for me. But yeah, when did that get announced? That's a great fight. Great fight. Godzi mauls this fraud. I don't know about that. Bahio might have to rethink his career. I just completely disagree, Melon. But to be honest, I always disagree with you, Melon. There. Let's get it. I'm late. Better late than never. There, see Paul. Wheezy is training Bootsy to alert when the bookies and orderlies come around. I like it. Let's see if I missed anything here. I hate that I'm liking Kroom as an underdog on DK, but logically he looks good. Yeah, I do have some Kroom in myself there. Kyle was bigger than I thought. Yeah, he's a big guy. What is your PR for push-ups and pull-ups? I don't know how to do it, and I'll let you know next week maybe. Kyle looks good. I don't think he's a fraud. Yeah, he's not a fraud. He's definitely not a fraud. Too many ways for Godzi to win. Yeah, the takedowns are no joke. The takedowns and the cardio is no joke, but we'll see what happens. No strong lean for me either way. No bet for me. If anything, I think I don't know, maybe the over, if anything, but nothing sticking out. But we have the main event now. If you guys can please hit the like button, do appreciate that a ton. Subscribe here, DFS By, never subscribe to the MMA Engine. That is much, much appreciated. Go check out me and Uncle Weezy's new show, Probability. We are loving that show. People seem to love it. We're going to keep doing it. And go check that out. So, main event, Vicente Luque, Belal Muhammad. We have Luque minus 170, Belal Muhammad plus 155. Fight doesn't go minus 150. I do have 2 bets on this fight. I actually really like how I played this fight. So, I think Luque takes off Belal's head at some point in this fight. 25 minutes with Vicente Luque is going to be a problem. Like, this guy is an absolute killer. Could Belal Muhammad come out here, take down Luque, rinse and repeat for 25 minutes? Yeah, sure he could. But 25 minutes, like, Luque's no bum on the mat. The guy's a very good grappler, multiple submissions. He's dangerous anywhere the fight goes, on the mat, on the feet. Could Belal take him down? Absolutely. I think he will even take him down. It's just, can he do it for 25 minutes without getting subbed, without getting hit, without getting hurt? And I really lean towards no. some red flags for me on the Muhammad side. He looked really good against Stephen Thompson his last fight, but you go back a couple fights ago against Diego Lima, and I had a very big bet on Belal Muhammad against Diego Lima, and I really expected Muhammad to have a lot of success in terms of taking down Lima. He was 1 for 10 on takedowns against Diego Lima, which was not the best look for me. Just was not able to get him down. And maybe he has improved then, and I think he has improved, since then, although it was about a year ago. Just was not the best look in the world. But again, if you like Muhammad, I think you play him by decision. If you like Luque, I think you play him by finish there. And I did play Luque by finish. So what I did, this is how I played it. I have 1 unit on Luque to win inside the distance plus 120. And what I also did was I put a 1.25 units on the decision only for Belal Muhammad. Decision only is the opposite of the finish only in the scorecards equals no action. This means I have the decision only. This means if there is a finish in this fight, whether it is Muhammad finishing Luque or like I think, Luque is going to finish Muhammad. If there's a finish in this fight, the bet is voided. If Muhammad wins a decision, the bet wins. And if Luque wins a decision, the bet loses. And I think if this goes to decision, I just don't know if Luque is going to be the winner here. I think if this does go to decision, that means Muhammad was able to take him down, was able to control him, and was able to do it for 25 minutes. I do not see Muhammad finishing Vicente Luque unless they're allowing him to bring in a shovel or a baseball bat or a brick maybe, because nobody's finishing Vicente Luque, especially Belal Muhammad, who the guy's just not a finisher. I think he has maybe one finish, maybe 2 finishes in the UFC, 25% finish rate. And I think that is the second worst finish rate on the card, right in front of Panic Anzad against one of the most durable fighters in the UFC and Luque. Like, it's not going to happen. Again, unless they bring like a steel chair or a shovel. And at that point, maybe he can finish Luque with like a baseball bat. But even then, Luque is as tough as they come. So I think that if you like Muhammad, I think there's a couple ways to play it. Decision only is definitely a look for Belal Muhammad. I don't know if it's still at minus 125, but if you like Muhammad, you got to like that decision only. Belal Muhammad by decision is sitting at plus 225, which isn't great, honestly. But I think that's what happens if Muhammad does win. If you like Luque, I would recommend the first of all, I was going to place like a max bet on the finish only scorecards equals no action for Luque, but they're all over it. They set it at like minus 430, so I couldn't bet that. But yeah, if you like Luque, I think inside the distance, around plus money is the way to go. He's minus 170 on the money line. Again, I don't see him winning many minutes in this fight, but I do see him winning moments. I think he takes off Belal's head and finishes him there. So I like Luque. I like him a lot. Give me Luque to get it done there. But yeah, the way I played it was a unit on the Luque inside the distance, and then a unit on a unit 0.25 on Belal decision only. Best case scenario is a Luque finish. Worst case scenario is a Luque decision, and I break even if Belal Muhammad does win a decision. So I do like how I played that fight, as long as Luque does not come out here and win a decision, which I don't think it's all that likely. As far as DK goes, I am 100% owned on this fight, just about. Have a ton of Luque, but I do have a good amount of Muhammad. But yeah, really good fight. Not a lot of great fights on this card, but this is one. This is definitely a really good fight. Belal by sub, he only has 1 submission on his record, and it was against Takashi Sato. So I would be shocked, honestly. Maybe like a late sub, but Luque is a black belt in BJJ. PayPal, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Luque is a black belt in BJJ. A really good grappler. He has not been submitted, I want to say, since like almost 10 years ago. It's been a while. Luque sub, yeah, I think it's on the table. Yeah, 25 minutes is a long time with a guy like Vicente Luque. This guy's going to be live from when the bell rings to when the fight ends. Watch the sub. Luque via Darcy. I think club and subs live. Can't remember. Does Belal always have the mark on his chest, or is it staph infection? I can't remember as well. Remember the name as a decisionator. Yeah, he is a decisionator, that's for sure. Luque's ground or submission game is super solid. Muhammad loves taking peeps to the ground, but I don't think he's ready for Luque's. Yeah, there's a big difference between Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Vicente Luque. Over 2.5 rounds. Yeah, I think this does go over. You might have a couple sketchy moments in there with Luque, but I think it does go over. I am liking the main event. I got the favorite here. Yeah, I like the favorite a decent amount. Luque could also knock out Belal so that he will forget his name. It could happen. Like Luque does that to a lot of people. He really does. Let me see if I missed any comments, and then I'll go over my final bets. I have a lot of bets this card, guys. It's terrifying, but I do like my spots. I think I got everything there. Belal is trying. No, he's a good fighter. It's just I don't know. I'm really high on Luque. All right, so I'll quickly go over my final bets, and then we'll head out of here tomorrow. Me, Narco, Eric, and Wheezy are going live for best bet. I'm not sure when the fights are starting, but we're gonna go about an hour before the prelims. I think the fights are starting at 5:30. So we'll be going live around like 4:30, 4:15 around there. So come check us out for best bet. Thoughts on Shavkat versus Neal? Is there a line on that, by the way? But I do like Shavkat quite a bit. But I have a feeling he's going to be like minus 300 or something crazy like that. So, some dogs potentially barking, says Gaming Wolf. And yeah, I do like some dogs myself. Have a bet on Kroom. So final bets. So I have Martin Budai minus 210, 2.5 units. My biggest play of the night. Low level, greasy heavyweight fight. What could go wrong? Trey Ogden, 1.3 units, minus 130. And then I also have the submission or fight ends by submission in the Ogden-Levitt fight, plus 150, half a unit. I have Kevin Kroom, half a unit, plus 155. I have a lot of action in the close fight, probably more than I should, but I have close Jenkins over 2.5, plus 110, 1 unit. And then on top of that, I did add Jenkins by KO, quarter unit, plus 1,100. And then the Jenkins scorecards equals no action. Same thing as finish only, 0.75 units, plus 450. On top of that, I have also the Knight scorecards equals no action, finish only, plus 100, 1 unit. I have Luque wins inside the distance, plus 120, 1 unit. I have Pat Sabatini wins inside the distance, plus 125, 1 unit. And I have the Belal Muhammad decision only, which is the opposite of the finish only on DraftKings, minus 125, 1.25 units. So looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bets on this card, which is scary, but I like how I played it. I like these spots, and the spots I was tempted on but passed on was going to be the fight ends in KO, Baiza Fialo, minus 115. I think Silva inside the distance is intriguing, just not a good enough line for me in a fight like that. And I think that's about it for me. So yeah, lots of spots stick out. Sketchy card. Be careful, guys. As always, bankroll management is key. Nothing is a lock. Absolutely nothing is a lock in MMA. Nothing. So we'll see what happens. If you guys like violence, next week is going to be your card. Next week is absolutely going to be your card. I think next week is going to be the most violent card of the year. I'm liking it. Good luck to you as well, Cole. Thoughts on the top two? I've not really looked into Bellator. I looked into a little bit of the Corey Anderson fight, but I've been busy. I have to look into next week's card, and I'm looking into 274 very soon as well. Yeah, I'm leaning Nemkov, but Anderson has a path to victory. Mushroom saying, thanks, Brady. Awesome show. Let's cash some tickets. One more sleep until some violence. Let's go, Mushroom. Thank you all for hanging out as always. You're the Neil Magny Whisperer. Okay, I'm calling. He's going to beat Shavkat. I don't know. I think he's going to be a big dog, though. I think you're going to get big dog money on some Neil Magny there. All right, guys, that is about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys can, on your way out, please leave a like. Also, I put the link in the description for the MMA Engine YouTube channel. Go over there, subscribe. I'll be taking this show on Fridays, moving it over to the MMA Engine. And on top of that, I'm on there Mondays with Wheezy doing the main event deep dive. And I'm on there Thursday as of now with Wheezy doing the probability, which is, in my opinion, the next big thing, taking it to the next level. Go check out that show if you haven't already. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Best of luck. UFC Vegas 51. Let us make some money and enjoy the fights, guys. See ya.